Hello, fifth graders. In this video, I'm going to show you how to draw a grid. First, we're going to start with our ruler. And as you see, I'm pointing out the inches. We are on the inches side of our ruler. So make sure you line up the edge of your ruler or where it starts at 0 with the edge of your paper. Then you're just going to go across the top and make little tick marks for every 1 inch across your paper. Now you may notice my ruler does not go all the way across my paper. So once I get to 12, what do? I'm going to take my ruler, I'm going to slide it over, line up my start with where the 12 mark is, and then I'm going to continue my measure marks all the way to the end of my paper. Once I get to the end, I'm going to slide my ruler down to the bottom, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. So lining up the edge or 0 of my ruler with the edge of my paper and making little tick marks for every single 1 inch all the way across my ruler. Again, make sure you're on the inches side and not the centimeter side. Once I get to 12, I need to make sure I move my ruler over, line up 0 with that 12 mark, and then I'm going to keep measuring to the edge of my paper. Now that I have all my measure marks done, I'm going to line up my ruler with the measure marks on each side. Just making sure it's lined up on that side and lined up on the other side so my lines can be exactly 1 inch apart. I hold my hand on my ruler, spreading my fingers out so that when I draw my line, my ruler doesn't slip. So again, spreading my fingers out, lining everything up, nice straight line. I'm going to make sure I'm doing that all the way down my paper. And as you're finishing up, there are a few things you can do to make sure that you have everything looking right. First, if all your lines are straight. Also, if you have 18 spaces and 17 lines, that means that everything worked out your way. Now I'm going to bring my ruler up to the top of my paper, lining up the edge or 0 with the edge of my paper, and making a measure mark for every 1 inch across the top of my paper. And notice my ruler is as long as my paper for this one, so it's a lot easier than previously. Sliding my ruler down, I'm going to do the same thing at the bottom, making sure that my 0 lines up with the edge of my paper and putting a measure mark for every single inch across the bottom. So what you're going to notice is that when we go to line up our ruler and connect our measure marks, we see that our ruler is not as long as our paper, so we can't connect those measure marks and make nice straight lines. To fix this, we are going to line up our ruler with one of the middle lines of our paper. We're going to make sure that 0 is at the edge of our paper, and we're going to make 1 inch measure marks in the middle. These act as almost like a bridge to connecting our lines together. Now that we've measured those measure marks in the middle, we can line up our ruler with one half and then line it up with the other half so we can still make our nice straight lines. So I line up my measure mark with the left measure mark in the middle, and then the middle and the right measure mark. And now my lines are straight. Now that I'm getting to the edge of my grid, I can again check that I did everything right by making sure that all my lines are straight. You should see that you have 12 spaces and 11 lines. So now you have a 12 by 18 grid. Good job.